is DJ Tall Guy from 90.3 The Core, and today I am joined by Arizona Loud Pretty Noisemakers, Holy Fawn.
Thanks for having us.
How's it going, man?
Why don't you introduce yourselves and say what you do for the band?
Sure.
I'll start, I guess. I'm Evan, and I play guitar most of the time in the band.
I'm Ryan. I play guitar and sing.
Austin, and I play drums and do background vocals.
Holy Fawn is currently on tour with Drug Church, Me Without You, and Thrice. Definitely go check out those dates by you. But getting into the topic matter, I guess the best place to start would to be where it started. Where did you all begin to start finding yourselves playing music?
Just like individually and stuff?
Individually.
I don't know. I mean, I always just really sucked at sports as a kid and everything, and music was just kind of the thing that I guess kind of clicked. And yeah, I just, I don't know. I always wanted to like learn how to play guitar as a kid. My folks were not into it, and I think I just probably like complained enough and sucked at sports enough where there's like, you need a hobby, and I was like, well, about the one thing I do want to do. So yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know, just like played guitar in my room trying to learn bands that I liked, songs, and ended up just doing like kind of like really crappy like home recording stuff as a kid. So that's probably where it kind of came into place.
Bedroom pop recordings.
Yeah.
That would probably be
Almost.
an improvement from what it was at the time. But yeah, that's kind of where I started off doing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I was pretty good at sports when I was a kid, but and I played all the way through high school, and then it almost killed me.
Shoving that brag.
I had a couple really bad injuries, but I had been playing piano and guitar, and then I picked up drums when I was like 16, and mostly self-taught except for guitar. And then I got hurt too bad, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do anything regular, so I'm just going to try and be a musician.
Do anything regular. I like that. I don't know. I was like kind of always into music. I started off in like orchestra in like 4th grade. I thought that was pretty chill.
What did you play?
Upright bass. So yeah, I played that pretty much all the way through high school. And that was pretty sick. And then, I don't know, picked up guitar. Started like learning tunes and all that. I also played sports, and I was pretty good at it too, playing football. And then his dad was my coach, and I had really long hair at the time. And he's like, hey, you have to cut your hair if you want to play next season. And I was like, no way, Jose.
To hell
Yeah,
with
so
you,
then I
old
was
man.
I was like, okay, give it up my dreams of being an NFL kicker.
And then you had
To
some
be a
choice
guitar
words
player.
for him, and he made you
Yeah,
do.
I'll talk to him. So yeah, sports, but not really.
Ryan, I identify with you. I was also not good at sports whatsoever, even though I was in them every year for some reason. But
My parents were always like, duh, just try this one. You'll be good at it. I'm like, no, like I'm lefty. So if I was like batting or something like that, I'm like right in the line of fire for every right-handed pitcher. Like I have probably like received more like just like hits on the plate than like anyone I knew growing up. So I was like, this totally sucks. Like I'm not having fun. I'm just like hopefully not gonna get hurt when I'm up there. So
that's what was looking forward to in the game. Was
yeah,
not
I was
getting
like,
hit.
hopefully I don't get like hit with something that is gonna just like make me feel bad and make me want to cry in public.
Oh my God. So moving on, in New Brunswick, where we are all from, there's a big basement scene, a lot of local shows and stuff like that. People throwing shows in their houses, garages, attics, you name it. And I want to know what the scene was like where you guys were in Arizona.
Very
Yeah.
similar. I mean,
Yeah.
Our first show was a house show.
we played a lot of house shows because we all kind of like live around the city of Tempe, which is where Arizona State University is.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a big art scene there with like, I don't know, just like a lot of, ASU kids throwing on house shows. And there's like even like a collective from ASU that puts on house shows through the college. And that was really cool. We played a lot of those, but honestly, yeah, that and dive bars is kind of where the music scene really is, where we're from. And it's a lot of fun.
I mean, I think in like the past several years, though, like they've been opening up a lot of like new venues, mid-size and like bigger ones. There was one place that I used to go to called the Mason Jar, and it was like it was pretty divey. It was like this dingy place, and it eventually just like got shut down, and like probably a decade or something later, they reopened it back up, like new name, like the one of like the bigger promoters in Arizona, like like started it from like the kind of like ground up, and it's a place we play at like pretty frequently. It's called the Rebel Lounge now, but I mean, it's crazy to be there as an adult and like just thinking back, like, hey, I was like a kid, I saw like all my favorite like random like touring bands and stuff like that, like bands that like probably weren't around for a super long time, but or like other bands that like I saw as like little like they're like kind of like opening acts and stuff like that for bigger bands. I saw like Finch and like Census Fail play at this place that had like no one there. And same thing with like bands like Job for a Cowboy or like From First to Last. Like they're just playing for like 10 people at these tiny little places, and it's so cool like see how like the music scene in Phoenix has really really become a super diverse and like dense place for music too. So there's like really everything there. We have a lot of friends that play like more experimental kind of stuff or like more like punk kind of stuff or whatever it is, and it's all there.
Yeah.
So, talking about like all the opening bands and stuff like that that you used to see, were there any like local heroes that you had in that era where like you saw like a smaller band, you were like, oh, I could do that, and like kind of pushed you to go and start your own band?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like since we lived in Arizona, we had like a lot of cool, like kind of like, I don't know, I guess they're probably considered like post-hardcore bands now, but like The Bled is from Arizona, Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, like Jimmy Eat World, all these bands, like, you know, we saw them at like tiny places, and it's wild to see them like where they are now. They're like humongous people, you know, like, I mean, Jimmy Eat World's a perfect example. Like they're totally regular dudes from like the same parts of town we are, and they're like, you know, they're
dude. Last time
pretty big contenders now.
I went to see Taylor Swift in Phoenix. Jimmy Eat World played a song with them.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's
pretty
wild.
cool.
Yeah.
Which one they do?
The middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
The hit.
But yeah, it's really cool though. I mean, there's probably I could rattle off plenty of other bands, but I don't think they like really became a whole lot else after whatever it was, you know. And you think it's like weird as a kid because you're like, holy cow, like I was like front row to all your shows. What the heck happened? But then it's like, I don't know, we're adults, we see friends start bands and then like they're in and out after a year, and it's like, oh well, this kind of makes sense, you know. People's interests kind of change, blah blah. So
moving on, I wanted to ask what like all of your first bands were like first ones you started.
Will you guys take it away?
Yeah. So like our first band, well, I don't know, not technically my first band.
It was like our
cover band.
Yeah.
The first like real band we had, me
Yeah.
and him had together. And it was a pop punk group.
Yeah.
You know, in the vein of like
All Time Low.
Every Avenue. When that stuff
Super
was
bright
really
skateboard pizza.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Just like
They're
that.
good though. I mean, like I heard some of the stuff that they had like put together, and I was like, this is actually like pretty bomb. Like
Pretty solid pop punk, but
Yeah.
I
was
think
fun
we
for high
I think
school,
we ended
yeah.
up writing like 8 songs total, and then it all fell apart. But
Yeah. But after that, we kind of started doing more just kind of like, I don't know, standard like indie rock, like, I don't know, borderline,
yeah.
even Americana stuff.
Yeah, we were
at a
just,
certain
and
point,
then after that band ended, me and him lived together for a while. We went to Nashville for an internship together, and we've just been playing together for like 10 years.
And then we met this guy.
Yeah.
And then this
and it
person.
all went to shit. No, sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. But I think like I started off doing a lot of like more like kind of like gloomy or emo-y acoustic stuff, and that kind of like turned into more like, I don't know, like scramsy stuff as well too. And I don't know, I feel like I've been a part of like a lot of different types of genres and stuff. It was just kind of whatever I was like kind of like into at the time. But I think in like the last probably like 10 years is really more like when it started kind of like finding a more direct kind of like path of whatever style I was like kind of playing in. So but yeah, and we all got together like Evan, Alex, and I all worked together. Evan and Austin were living together, and we all kind of got together one day and set up a bunch of microphones, had some drinks, and like just pressed record and played for like 2 or 3 hours, just improvising stuff. And I don't know, we ended up just working like pretty well together. It's always been really fun. So
Throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks.
pretty much, yeah.
And we still do that. Like every time we practice.
Yeah.
Like
Even
someone
at
will just
sound
start
check,
playing
we'll
something,
just-
we'll just like hop in one by one and be like, all right, let's just play for a while.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do
I
it.
think
Yeah.
it's healthy
Fun.
too. I mean, it's like it's good to keep us like, learning each other, learning our own musical styles, and just like, also just like pretty therapeutic, just to be like, not feeling like you are like saying 1, 2, 3 and playing a song. It's just like, all right, let's just see what our brains and stuff like that put together.
Yep.
That's how Joan of Arc does their process. Just play
Oh,
and
yeah.
start recording.
Joan
Yeah.
of Arc that is just separate stuff. Like that, like they have their drummer doing like keys and playing drums,
Mhm.
right?
That's wild.
That blows my mind. He just sets it on his lap, and I'm like, yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
And another thing, Ryan, while I was like doing research and stuff for the interview, I found a podcast that you did where talking about an old band that you used to be in
Mhm.
called The Maine.
Yeah, that is true. Guilty. I grew up with Garrett and Pat, like since we were like kids, Garrett and Pat and I had like 2 other bands before that too, and they were kind of like emo, scramsy stuff, which is a lot of fun. But I ended up starting to do like a lot more like slower, kind of sadder stuff. We kind of like parted ways, and then like one day, like Pat's brother Tim, who's their like manager and kind of like the head dude for 8123, like gave me a call. He was like, hey, like I've got a buddy of mine that sings. He's never been in any bands, but like we're thinking about like maybe having him join like Pat and Garrett. Would you want to be involved? So I was like, yeah, I'd like give it a shot. We did, and we started making a lot of like kind of like almost like Copeland sounding stuff, which I was like, I've always been a huge Copeland fan, and so we did that for a while, but it started kind of like gradually becoming more and more serious, and it was starting to become a lot more like poppy, and I just kind of lost a little bit of interest, and we were about to sign on to I can't remember which label it was. I don't know if it was like Fearless or Hopeless, something with less in the name. But I just like felt like really checked out, and it sucked, and I knew that like these guys were gonna do some like really cool stuff, which I really wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do it kind of more on my own terms, and so I was like, hey, like I think I'm gonna back out. Like they had a friend that was like already down to like learn my parts, and so he stepped in, and he's like a killer musician, like probably light years more talented than I am, and they've been doing this for like a decade now, more than a decade. And yeah, it's absolutely killer. I mean, I think in the grand scheme I was probably in the band for a year or less, but it's still great, and like I love all those guys to pieces. They're, for a band as big as they are, they travel to different countries and sell like 5,000 cap rooms. They have like the like littlest ego, and it's so refreshing to hear. Like on that podcast I did with them, we like literally just kind of like, I don't know, just like chatted like it was like we were back in like junior high or high school again. It felt like nothing had changed, and it's really cool. Like I can't say enough nice things about those guys.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Super cool dudes.
So moving on to more questions about the records. I wanted to ask about like where Realms came from, because very different from what you guys have been putting out now. Still the whole loud booming and thing, but it was more of like I got more of like a dream pop sound from it rather than like slow chorey, just pounding. And I wanted to know where those songs came from.
I had a band before Holy Fawn that I was kind of like, it was kind of a solo project. I had friends rotating in and out doing stuff, and I was starting to write more like electric stuff, like guitar and electronic drums and everything. And that was like, that band was called Owl and Penny, and it was kind of Holy Fawny, but it was like way more acoustic and everything. It was like if there was no electric guitars at all. But that like all fizzled out. Like we had one of our band members pass. We had like we had some of them trying to go to college, and one was moving to a different state. So it just all kind of fizzled out. But like I had some of these kind of like ideas written and everything, and that's around the time I met these guys, and I think we were like doing a lot of improv stuff, and I showed them some ideas of like, yo, if you want to do these like live, then we're down. And that's kind of how like the band really got like more solidified, because we were like going into these weekly practices of like with like a goal in mind, I guess. So we kind of did that. But yeah, they were initially going to be a part of almost like a different band in a transition kind of form. But yeah, I don't know. It was we still enjoy playing those songs like at practice and everything, and hope one day we can like bring them out to a show or something. But yeah, I think that once we got like everyone else in a more collaborative effort for like Death Spells and the Black Moon, I think that that's when Holy Fawn started to kind of like coalesce into more what it is now.
Develop more of a regimen, a more collective mindset.
Yeah,
operating as a unit.
Yeah,
and everyone's got such different influences and everything too. So like, there's stuff that Austin and Evan come up with. I don't know. Just go through that mental
Not
Rolodex.
Alex.
Not Alex.
Like my mom.
And yeah, but there's some stuff that like their influences will come through, like their guitar parts, you know, drum parts, bass parts, and like it's just stuff that I would normally never come up with on my own, and it ends up working way better. So that's
It's always good to have collaborators that complement one another.
yeah.
Definitely.
But moving on to Death Spells, first of all, that was, if I had found that album in 2018, it would have been on my list, top 10, because, God.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm going to stop fanboying, but anyways, there was a lot more, like, Scram's influence. We've been talking about Scrams nonstop for the past, like, 20 minutes, and I wanted to know where those songs kind of synthesized from. I know you were sitting on that record for a while. You were working on it for 2 years, recording, re-recording. And so that's like, I imagine that album was like a big chunk of you all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was, I think, tough on everyone.
It was a stressful time.
It was tough on everyone. Like, for me, it was tough because I'm just like learning how to work with people better, because I've just been kind of on my own for so long. So these guys had to like kind of help me break down a lot of those, like, I don't know, like just like that crappy ego wall of like just like self-defense mechanisms and whatnot. And also I'm just like, these guys they've gone to school for like professional like recording and everything and engineering, and I've just been dumb luck, trial and error stuff. So like they did pretty much all the like engineering and mastering, mixing, everything for it. So I'm having to like go in, maybe suggest edits, and there's probably like, dude, we've done this like 1,000 times. Like,
It's true.
I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. And I'm just like probably trying to like describe some abstract change that I want. And there's like, I'm going to straight up kill this guy. Like, I'm going to.
It was tough. We like you said, we like recorded, mixed, mastered the whole thing.
In
All
a
by
house,
ourselves.
like basically in a kitchen.
Yeah,
It
our setup was like in the dining room area, and we lived with other people because roommates and all that. So people like making dinner, and we're like sitting there trying to like master these songs.
So any of that on the album, did you sample like a skillet sizzling or something?
I mean, it's probably on there.
There's some
somewhere.
weird stuff in there.
Yeah, there's
for sure.
definitely some weird stuff.
There's
but-
a home improvement noise in there somewhere, but
Oh
No,
my
we
God.
took
you won't be
that
able
out.
to. No, it's in there. You just can't hear it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We
son
did
of
turn
a
it down.
son of a gun.
The noise.
But I mean, like we recorded pretty much everything at these guys' house. But like I know I recorded some synthy stuff and like random like vocal takes and stuff at my house. But
and stuff.
then we recorded a lot more at these guys' place. But then they moved like I think 3 times in the process. So it was like different houses, different rooms.
A lot
Then
of
we had
kitchens and a lot of living rooms.
Yeah.
different amps got like bought or traded, so we had to like be like, it's like I don't
Gotta
want to
redo all the
re-record all
bass.
this, but like we have to because it sounds
sounds
better. Or someone got like a new mic, so it was like, wow, we got to redo all the drums now. Like, and so it was just really crazy. I think that all of us were probably like at our wits' ends. I know, like I was talking to our manager Chris a lot at the time, and just like probably like just like on the cusp of just like nervous breakdowns like every day, and he's having to like talk me off the ledge, being like, yo, it's gonna be okay. Like, but I don't know. I mean, I think that despite that it took probably like a lot out of all of us to do that, I think that like we're all super happy with how it came out. I know
Yeah.
I am for sure. something I think we're all really proud of, especially to say that we did it ourselves too. So
Yeah, definitely.
That's
It
probably,
feels good.
it's the best takeaway. It's like you recorded it, you did everything yourself, you put all the time, the
Yeah.
gear, all the mics.
it's
Yeah.
cool. It's like it's nice, and it's just nice to just be doing with like your friends and stuff too, not having to be like on this dude's clock right now. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
let's
Mm-hmm.
stop messing around.
Equal
But,
investment.
yeah.
Yep.
And if I could ask you to talk about one song specifically, this is a bit of a selfish question because probably my favorite song on the record, "Yawning."
Dude, that's a whole thing.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
song, that song,
It was like a 6-month debate whether it would
It was
be,
gonna be
on
on
the
there.
album, and I don't know, like me and Evan and Alex was like kind of on board for it a little bit, and then we kind of convinced him, and then we tried to convince Ryan, and then Chris had to kind of talk with Ryan about it, and we eventually like forced its way in there.
like
and
it's
I
gonna
think
be
it
on
worked
there.
out.
It's gonna be on there, and I'm like, oh god, this is like, I don't know. It was like a song that like we got demoed, we practiced it, it was fun, but we had been playing that song since like I think
Early on
yeah. that we were playing that in Vespertine, like even
at my dad's house.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the time it
a
was
long
like
time.
yeah, I think Realms had just came out and we were already playing those songs. And we had written so much other stuff too, so I was just like, this song doesn't seem like it fits at all. But I'm in the end, I'm glad that it's on there. I fought
me
pretty
too.
tooth and nail to not have it be on there, but I'm glad that it is because it's
a nice juxtaposition
Yeah.
to a lot of the other slower songs, I feel like,
Mm.
and it kind of transitions to the second half of the record where it
Exactly.
slows down a little bit more.
And we kind of wanted, like, yeah, to elaborate on that, like, we wanted the album, like, ideally, would love the album to be listened to, like, beginning to end, and there's a lot of intentional transitions between the songs, like, we deliberated over, like, the order for so freaking long, but I think that Yawning definitely, like, has to be on there for that entire vision to, like, really be complete, because it's so fast and kind of, like, chaotic, and then it, like, kind of like I don't know, it just throws you kind of like a little bit into like the ether with Evan's like weird guitar noises at the end that go into
Yeah.
It's
here.
like pedal
Yeah, it was like we just
stuff.
I think we just like kept like rolling on certain things, and Evan was just he's like expert noisemaker and for like all kinds of weird stuff, so he just kept going, and I think we had it just at the tail end of a session and we listened to it again, we're like, that sounds kind of weird, like let's maybe use that.
Just throw it in.
Yeah.
No, it's a great, like, because it seems like up until Yawning, the album just keeps getting more and more intense, and then that's when the bubble bursts,
Yeah.
and then you start building it again with like the interludes and all the other tracks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to kind of like have it ramp up and then drop off for like some of the slower, kind of more
Mhm.
mellow ones, and then build
Yeah.
up towards the end.
Like driving off a cliff and then being there at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I think in like our heads that we can speak candidly enough about this, it's kind of like feels like I don't know, like a wave and like a like strong like acid trip where it's just like really like intense, and then you're kind of just like floating there just with your thoughts and everything, and then the rest of it kind of like picks up and stuff. So yeah,
Definitely.
feel free to edit that out. we'll end with driving off a cliff.
I also wanted to ask what it was like making the jump over to Triple Crown.
It was scary because we've been on like before that we were on Chris's label Whelmed Records, and it's very like one-on-one, like we talk literally every day, even just like mental health checks, like dumb memes to business, like everything. So like going from like a very like friendly, professional, casual kind of like situation to something where it's like
It's business now.
yeah, it is. It was like it's still like a pretty steep learning curve, I think, for a lot of us. Like there's a lot of stuff I just like don't understand. I'm like, please, someone talk to me. Like I'm 5 about this because don't understand what is exactly this, like what the purpose is of this, that, and the other thing. But it's cool. I mean, it's definitely been a challenge. Like we have like deadlines for things. It's not like hard deadlines, but it's definitely like stuff where it's like, hey, like if you were to do X, it would benefit you like big time in this way. So, but it's been really cool. Like Triple Crown has been incredibly supportive, and they let us just do our like weird stuff too, where they're like, hey, like, yes, you can drop a release out of nowhere with zero promotion. And a lot of places, a lot of labels be like, hey, no, we need to have like a campaign for this leading up to it. But they let us be like, I don't know, like weird little creatures, and that's cool with us. So
I don't know. It was definitely like pretty intimidating at first. Like when we first got the email from Triple Crown, we're like, oh gosh, we love all these bands that are all.
It was
this
intimidating,
label.
but he was so casual.
He was.
Yeah.
He was really cool. Or Fred, the owner of the label. He's a really cool dude. He came out to Arizona, and like as soon as we met him, we felt super comfortable. And yeah, the jump, it was a lot different going from, like one of our best friends, like label of Whelmed Records over to Triple Crown. But it definitely feels like a lot more professional, but like not in a bad way. Like it's fun to like, I don't know, it's definitely a lot more business-like, but it's also easier in a lot of terms too, because I mean, there's like schedules that if we stick to, like things happen, and I don't know, it's really nice, but it is just a learning curve for sure.
yeah. We just
adds
get
a
to
little more structure.
Yeah, which is nice.
We probably ought to have more structure, but it's so it's good for us, and I think it allows us to just like, we want to do this as a passionate career, like, and I think that this allows us to hold ourselves to a higher standard, and than we were before. So it's good for, I think, us as individuals, and also as just like a unit too.
Yeah.
Next, I wanted to ask if you guys could talk about like the inspirations behind all the music videos. I know there's like supposed to be a congruent storyline. There was a lot of cool imagery, like all the extra occult stuff you threw in there was really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And I just wanted to talk about the concept of the music videos, where that came from.
I don't know. I mean, like we tend to like just kind of sit down and we'll kind of storyboard some ideas for music videos, and our buddy Matt Cardinal, he's done like all of our videos so far, and he's a pal of ours, and he just has a really good eye. He works really well with us, like out having to like direct a whole lot and be like, hey, like the scene needs to be like looking this way. He like really just kind of gets it, and but it's just like I don't know. I think we just wanted something that was going to be representative of like how we feel about the music, and also it just like for me, like I've just seen so many like performance videos or whatever, and it just kind of like gets old. Like I guess like like no one's playing in a lot of those videos. Like I know we did one, but I was like, no, I'm making sure like we actually are playing these songs. Like at least I will know in my head that we played these songs.
That's
but
why it was, like live and Vitus.
Yeah. But we have, I don't know, we just wanted them to be something more than a music video. We wanted to create like a universe inside these songs, inside all the songs that we're doing, and since they're like longer songs too, so it's like it lends to doing something a little bit more like cinematic and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
but also without being too heavy-handed with like a story kind of thing.
I still want it to be like I never really talk about lyrics or anything, because I always want like people to be like interpreting it their own way, and I think that we try to like approach music videos in a similar way too. Like there's a story for us and everything, but if you can make your own as well, if it means something to you, then that's even better for us. So
yeah,
cool. I guess the last thing, you guys just put out Black Moon, another fantastic EP. You went a little more in with the electronics and everything, a lot of some drum machines and stuff like that. And going from there, I wanted to know like what the future plans for the band were. If there's like another EP, another record on the way, what are you guys looking to do in the next year?
I know we go back home after this, and we are definitely going to be like hunkering down, doing a lot of like writing and stuff. I don't know if we can like really say anything else more than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we are working on a lot of new stuff.
There's a lot.
There's stuff on the way.
There's stuff always happening.
Big things coming.
Oh yeah, stay on the lookout.
But I mean, there's always stuff like happening. Like there's always writing. I mean, it's rare if there is like the only time there might be any kind of writing lull is if we're touring, and even still, I mean, like Evan and I have already been like working on something like from when we had a little Airbnb in Pittsburgh and stuff. So it's like we have we brought tools out here because we knew we were going to be out for a while. I didn't want any kind of writing to stop. So it's there are things happening, but
Nothing concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no
But-
other tours on the books after this one
yeah.
yet.
For
But-
now.
but
Yeah,
we-
we're trying to experiment, get back home and play with more pedals and
Yeah.
Yeah, just figure
synthesizers
some
and drum
stuff out.
machines and
Any Earthquaker devices on any of yours?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am
his and
smitten
Alex's
with them.
board
Yeah.
have some, I don't have.
I like swear by their fuzz pedals, but
Which one do you use?
Cloven Hoof.
That's what I use.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It's gutter.
Alex
Yeah.
has one too.
Yeah, our bassist Alex uses the same thing, but yeah, I think going forward though, we're just trying to kind of just expand our palette with our tools and stuff. Like we have more synths now. Like I have a lot of stuff like on my laptop that I like to use for like editing and like mixing and making like weird stuff. So I think we're just trying to incorporate like as many new tools as we can, you know. But yeah, I mean the stuff that we have been working on, I think we're all like pretty excited about, and yeah. So
Well, we're all excited to hear that you're working. We're
Yeah.
excited to hear the final product.
yeah,
Thanks, man.
Well,
thank you a ton.
Thank you guys again for coming out, talking with us. It's been really cool.
Yeah, thanks for
definitely.
having us. Seriously, it's been a pleasure. Thank all of you guys for being
Yeah,
part of
thanks,
this.
guys.
Like really, really grateful.
All right, this is DJ Tall Guy from 90.3 The Core, signing out with Holy Fawn.